If you can listen to all of the mistakes that many people make with their dogs that I'm about to share with you, I guarantee you will have wild amounts of success with your dogs where so many other people fail. A huge mistake that people make, in particular owners of small dogs, is forgetting that small dogs need training too. Yes, smaller dogs are easier to manhandle. Yes, worst case scenario, you can pick a smaller dog up. You can't do that with shepherds and mastiffs and many of the guardian breeds. But it doesn't change the fact that they absolutely need training too. Because if you're not training your dog, if you're not communicating with your dog, if you're not making your rules, boundaries and expectations clear from a place of loving leadership, your dog will become anxious, frustrated, fearful and confused, which is the root cause for 99% of problem behaviours. And that is applicable whether we're looking at Chihuahuas or English Mastiffs. Yes. I promise you, if you can understand this, you will be instantly much happier with your dog, with your relationship with your dog and your life with your dog. And that's understanding the absolute fact that comparison is the thief of joy. If you are comparing yourself to the dogs you're seeing on social media, you are making a huge mistake. You should only care about you and your dog and you making progress with your dog. If you're doing that, then it's amazing. Are you going to be as good as competition dogs on social media? Probably not. Are those competition dogs as good as they look on social media? Let me let you into a secret. No, they're absolutely not. They have just had that footage cherry-picked to look amazing. Stop comparing yourself to other people and spend that energy on becoming a better leader that builds a better relationship with your dog. This mistake is made by the vast majority of owners unknowingly, yet creates huge problems, and that is not militantly putting routine and structure in place with your dog. Now, how can you look at a dog like this and not absolutely fall in love with how adorable they are? And then naturally we want to spoil them rotten, but I promise you that's doing them a disservice, not necessarily just because of behaviour, although it does, but their happiness. Dogs are creatures of habit. They love routine, structure, knowing what they're doing, when they're doing it, why they're doing it, and knowing what it is that you do want and what it is that you don't want. And if you can provide that for your dog, I promise you, your dog will be happier. Yeah, that's a good girl. That's a good girl. Now, this mistake is going to be a really hard one for you to understand, and it might even sound a little bit cruel, but I promise you it's important, and that is simply not feeling sorry for rescue dogs. Now, this is a rescue dog that's here with me for an intensive day with a plethora of different behaviour issues that we're working on today. But it would be doing a disservice to this dog if I simply felt sorry for her. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely do. I feel sorry for all rescue dogs and want to help all rescue dogs and volunteer with many rescue dogs. However, I have to remain a calm, consistent, assertive leader if I want to help this dog. The best way I can give confidence to this dog, the best way I can help this dog move forward from the trauma in this dog's life is by being a calm, consistent, loving leader, forgetting about her past and focusing on her future. Oh, he's a good girl. So this mistake is a huge one that people make all the time, and that is thinking that you can either lead your dog or you can love your dog. And far too many people think that they should just simply love their dog. But that is making a terrible mistake. You must lead your dogs. All dogs crave leadership. And if they don't have that leadership in their life, they feel that they have to make decisions for themselves. And when you put a dog in a position to have to make decisions for themselves, they become confused, fearful and anxious. And they live in a constant state of fight or flight. And it's no life for a dog. So we need to clearly communicate to them what it is that we do want and what it is that we don't want, so that they can follow our loving guidance and direction. And if you lead your dog, for me, that is the single best way that you can actually love your dog, because leadership is love. This mistake is a mistake that in particular 99% of new dog owners make, and that is giving affection at the wrong times. Now, how can you look at a dog like this this, especially knowing that this dog has come from a rescue centre, and not want to pile on the affection and the attention. But you have to remember that giving this kind of praise, this kind of attention, is rewarding and reinforcing to the dogs in our life. So you have to make sure that the only time you give this kind of praise and attention is when your dog's doing something that you're happy with. This little girl is making an amazing job of my advanced leash handling course and is sitting nicely, quietly, instead of jumping all over me. I'm very happy with that, so I'm giving praise and attention. If she was jumping up me and I was giving her praise and attention, I'd be rewarding and reinforcing the jumping rather than rewarding and reinforcing this kind of calm. So remember to give attention at the right times, not the wrong ones. If you make this mistake with your dog, you are setting them and you up for failure. And it's something as a canine behaviourist I see every single day. And that's letting your dog make its own decisions. Now, don't get me wrong, we don't want robots and we don't want to give them militant levels of control every single day, but there is a time and a place. If you're in a situation where you need your dog to behave, you need your dog to look up to you for guidance and direction, then that is exactly what your dog should be doing. They shouldn't be making decisions for themselves. And to do this, you need to utilize your leash handling skills and your obedience. I am incredibly happy that right now this dog is making a great decision to sit and wait calmly. If this dog was sniffing and pulling and lunging and barking, I would have to challenge that behavior and insist that right now we're working together because you're on a lead, so I need you looking up to me for guidance and direction. However, when we've finished our advanced leash handling skills, when we've finished this formal training session, I'm going to take the lead off, I'm going to give her her break command and make it incredibly clear that now is the time that you can go run, be a dog and have fun. But if I need you to come back to me and pay attention, then you must come back to me and pay attention. This mistake is something that the best dog trainers and the best dog owners in the world know to their core. And the people that have issues with training dogs is something that they haven't quite grasped yet. And that is understanding that there is absolutely no one way to train all dogs. Like people, every single dog is different, and from breed to breed there are huge differences. Even within the same breed you will see a wide variety of temperaments, characteristics and behaviours, and even going down as narrow as looking at the same litter from the same breed, from the same parents of the same breed, you will see huge varieties of character, temperament and behaviours, and therefore you must have a bespoke way of dealing with every dog as an individual, to honour that dog, to honour who that dog is, and to make sure that we're working with that dog rather than constantly in conflict with that dog. When it comes to training a dog, a huge mistake that people make is not understanding their dog's comfort zones, and even if they do understand the comfort zones, making the mistake of either never pushing them out of their comfort zone or pushing them too far out of their comfort zone. It's a constant balancing act that you have to work with your dog or the dog that you're working with to help them build confidence, build communication and build your relationship. At the start of our intensive day with this beautiful girl here, these A-frames were terrifying for her, but we have been working little by little throughout the day to get her comfortable in navigating these pieces of equipment and trusting in me as her loving leader to help her navigate through the challenges in life. But if I'd have pushed her too far too soon, she'd have shut down and become fearful and therefore wouldn't trust me. If I didn't push her at all, she would develop a state of comfort and therefore not have any need to look up to me for guidance and direction because there's no obstacles for her to overcome. So you have to constantly be fighting that balance to get it just right. Come on, let's go. But if you do, you're going to have a dog as awesome as this one. A huge mistake that both dog owners and many dog trainers make, you are a good girl, come on, you can do it, you can do it, oh clever girl, yes, is expecting too much too soon from the dog that you own or the dogs that you're working with. You have to make sure that you have realistic expectations based on the breed, the age, and the individual character and temperament of that dog. Do you use those things to make excuses for bad behaviours? Absolutely not. not. But you use those things to make sure that you're setting them up for success in our plan of moving forward. Now, moving forward can take many different shapes and forms to be able to achieve success. And that is where the art form of working with dogs comes from. But no matter how many different tools and strategies you have, if you aren't having the right expectations of the dog you're working with, you won't achieve that success. But when you pair those two things together, that is where true magic happens.